Sonic Colors was my first Sonic game, and one of my favorite games of all time to this day. This game is known to be one of the most highly praised 3D Sonic games of all time. Back in the mid to late 2000s, Sonic was kind of in a rough spot. Most games during this area were not really received well. We got games like Sonic 06, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Riders, and Sonic Unleashed, which all saw very mixed reviews. Yes, even Sonic Unleashed, a game that is loved by many Sonic fans today, was originally considered to be a bad Sonic game. Sonic definitely needed something new, something fresh to save the series. Then Sonic Colors came out. Sonic Colors was released to commercial success with fairly good reviews. This game took core Sonic platforming and made it into a game. No wacky gimmicks like a sword or a werehog. This was just Sonic. Just Sonic. This is definitely what the series needed at the time. Pretty much everything was revamped here, a completely new voice casts, different writing, and much, much more. Sonic Colors was considered to be the savior of the Sonic series, and it shows. In 2021, a remaster of the game titled Sonic Colors Ultimate was released to mixed opinions. The game changed a lot about the original game, such as the removal of lives, new modes, cosmetics, and a fully remixed soundtrack. The game also saw many technical issues at launch, which were just awful, really. But if you put all those issues aside, it's just a Sonic Colors remaster. Today I'll be taking an in-depth look at Sonic Colors and Sonic Colors Ultimate. Yes, at its core this is a Sonic Colors review, but I'll be giving my thoughts on the content they added in Colors Ultimate near the end of the video. Like my Sonic Adventure review, this review will be split into 6 different sections, those being story, gameplay, music, extra content, and my overall thoughts on the things they added in Colors Ultimate. And of course, my thoughts and ratings. So, if you only care about my thoughts on Ultimate, then you can skip ahead to that part of the video. I'll leave timestamps in the description. But with all of that out of the way, let's get into this review. Before giving my overall thoughts on the story, I'll just give you a quick summary. Eggman opened an amusement park in space, which is actually just a cover-up for another one of his evil plans. Eggman is trying to capture these aliens called the Wisps, and he wants to absorb their hyper-go-on power to power his mind control cannon and to take over the world. Of course, Sonic and Tails know something is going on, so they go and stop Eggman. Eggman almost won, but his plans ultimately backfired because one of the boss's limbs got stuck in this cannon, causing a frickin' black hole. And then the Wisp saves Sonic and the planets get freed, and, well, to be honest, that's pretty much it. Unlike previous Sonic games, the story is way more simple and lighthearted. Stories like those of Sonic Unleashed and Sonic 06 had a very serious and cinematic story. Sure, those games had humor thrown in every now and then, but overall, the stories were very dark and serious. Sonic Colors, however, has a very lighthearted story with a ton of humor and bad jokes. They also recasted most of the characters, which makes it even worse, to be honest. I'm not saying that the new voice cast is bad, I'm saying that the tone of the new cast is way more like a cartoon rather than a Sonic game, but it is what it is. Simplicity isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes a simple story could actually end up being better because you avoid creating issues such as plot holes, and overall making the story confusing, which ultimately hinders the experience. Sonic 06. Now, I'm not saying that Sonic Colors has a bad story. Sure, it's definitely lacking in some aspects, but it's also really good at some points. I think Roger Craig Smith captured Sonic's cocky attitude perfectly. Although I do prefer Jason Griffith, Roger still does an amazing job. This game really did mark the beginning of the meta era because of its childish writing, which we would see in every mainline Sonic game after Colors. While I do prefer the stories of Unleashed in 06 for their more serious tone, the Dark Age stories have humor in them as well. Just watch a few cutscenes from Sonic and the Black Knight, which is pretty much the last game with the dark writing, and there are a ton of childish jokes like we see in Colors. But overall, the story of Sonic Colors is kind of a mixed bag. Again, I don't really like the childish writing, but it isn't that bad. Thankfully, the story doesn't hinder the gameplay, which is arguably the best part of any video game. Well, for the most part. At the end of the day, the gameplay is what makes a video game, and Sonic Colors doesn't disappoint. According to Sega, the gameplay in Sonic Colors is an evolution of the Daytime stages from Sonic Unleashed, and I honestly couldn't disagree more. Some aspects are better than Unleashed, such as the homing attack mapping, but I personally enjoy the Unleashed gameplay way more. Sonic Unleashed put a huge emphasis on speed and reaction time while having some platforming sections. Sonic Colors, on the other hand, focuses way more on platforming and not so much on speed. This is why I think the Unleashed gameplay is overall just more fun. Also, Sonic Colors is advertised as a 3D Sonic game, which it is, but most of this game is 2D platforming. Now, previous games had 2D sections, but games like Sonic Unleashed had way more 3D than 2D. But this video is about colors, so let's move on. Overall, the gameplay in Sonic Colors is great. Some of the controls are a little weird when playing with a controller, but thankfully you can remap the controls in Ultimate. The boost returns from Sonic Unleashed and is used more as a tool in this game rather than just an extra button to push. You can also double jump and homing attack, which is pretty standard Sonic stuff, and I gotta say, double jumping really comes in handy during platforming sections. Quick stepping and drifting also return, but only in specific sections, making these more of a gimmick than an actual gameplay mechanic. This is most likely due to the number of the buttons on the Wii Remote. Speaking of gimmicks, one of the main features of Colors are the Wisps. The Wisps are pretty much power-ups that allow you to do certain things, kind of like Mario. The Cyan Wisp allows Sonic to turn into a laser and shoot into the distance and kill enemies and yeah, that kind of thing. The Yellow Wisp turns Sonic into a drill that can be used to dig through the ground and propel quickly through water. The Orange Wisp turns Sonic into a rocket and launches you into the air. The Blue Wisp turns Sonic into a cube and turns blue rings into cubes that you can walk on. The Green Wisp turns Sonic into this thing and lets him hover and lightspeed dash. The Pink Wisp turns Sonic into a spike ball and allows him to touch the walls and spin dash. And the Purple Wisp turns Sonic into this monster thing and he can demolish everything in his path. You may have noticed that they have tied some of Sonic's most iconic abilities, such as the lightspeed dash and spin dash, to Wisps. I personally don't mind the Wisps, but most of the Sonic communities despises them. I feel like this general hate for the Wisp is because of appearances in games after Colors, because every main 3D Sonic game after Colors had them in some way. Even though the Wisps went back to their home planet at the end of Colors, they also show up in Lost World, Generations, and Forces, so it doesn't really make sense in a canonical sense. But at the end of the day, the Wisps are fine in Colors. Now, the level design in Colors is pretty good for the most part. I already mentioned how most sections in the game are 2D puzzle solving. I think this is fine, but I wish the 3D and 2D gameplay were more balanced. Otherwise, the gameplay and level design is just overall pretty fun with a few exceptions. Similar to most Sonic games in this era, the bosses are very easy, and to be honest, they kinda suck. The bosses from the first 3 areas are reused in the last 3 areas, but they are harder and a little different. The only boss I actually enjoyed was the final boss, and even that one was too short. Let's talk about the level environments, which is arguably, one of the best things about Colors. These worlds are so bright and colorful and are very diverse. Tropical Resort is the starting world, and it's just freaking fantastic. Like, come on now. It's basically a city-like resort that you run through. I don't really know a good way to describe it. Sweet Mountain is a world made of sweets with some machinery you throw in there. This is probably one of my favorites because it's just so fun to look around at the different things it has. I have no clue how to describe this, but it's really fun climbing the Burger Tower. Like, come on. Starlight Carnival, while not one of my favorites, is still very fun. All of the colorful ships and armadas and that kind of thing and lights fit well with this level. Planet Wisp is also one of my favorites, if not my favorite. It's a planet being taken over by machinery, and it's just so clever. Aquarium Park is actually probably my favorite. I don't even know how a water level is my favorite thing, but dang, this level is great. Finally, we have Asteroid Coaster, and it's just kind of alright. I like exploring inside of the asteroids and riding roller coasters, but overall, the level environments are some of the most diverse and unique we have seen in the series. They're just amazing. Nowadays, we see levels such as Green Hill and Chemical Plant return all the time, and it's just obnoxious at this point. Even in Lost World, the level environments were so generic, but that's for another video. Each area in Sonic Colors, with the exception of Terminal Velocity, has 6 acts each and a boss. The thing is, 3, maybe 4 of the levels in each zone are pure filler. Some levels just reuse areas from previous levels and just put a different spin on them. Other levels just continue where the previous act left off. This makes me wonder why instead of having 2 2-minute levels, Why not just combine the two and make one giant level? It's obviously because they wanted to make the game as long as possible, but I mean, it's still kind of annoying. Also, even with the filler levels, this game is super short, only a few hours long when not including extra content or post-game stuff. Now, short Sonic games are nothing new nowadays, but Sonic Colors is the first one that really felt short. But overall, the gameplay in Sonic Colors is great. Definitely one of the best in the series. Music is a staple of Sonic games, and Sonic Colors has an amazing soundtrack. A big surprise there. Each area pretty much uses a different style of music, and they all sound great. I really like the calmness of Planet Wisp because it just fits the level so well. That's not saying that the other tracks or the other areas don't fit well. As a matter of fact, they all fit perfectly with their areas. I just like the music of Planet Wisp the most. Vocal themes are also a staple of the Sonic series, and Sonic Colors houses two. While Reach for the Stars is definitely the better theme, Speak With Your Heart is not that bad. I just don't like how the vocals sound almost like robotic, and it just hurts my ears. And the final boss theme, man, it's great. Sonic Colors probably has one of, if not the best final boss themes in the whole series. I just love how it starts out quiet and then just, you know what, I don't even know, it's just great. In short, Colors is just another great Sonic soundtrack. It's not as good as Unleashed 06, but it's still very good. Let's talk about extra content, and Colors has a lot of it. The main thing here is the red rings and Gameland. Red rings are collectibles spread out across every level. Some of them are really easy to find, while some require you to look up a walkthrough. Collecting red rings will unlock Gameland levels. Gameland is an extra mode where you and either a second player or an AI or just another character can play these very short and sweet levels that are mostly 2D. This may just seem like a fun little extra mode, which it is, but this is actually how you unlock the ability to play as Super Sonic, so they're pretty much this game's special stages. Completing each Gameland zone will give you a Chaos Emerald, and collecting every emerald will give you Super Sonic, obviously. I honestly think Gameland is fine, but the level design is atrocious compared to the main game. This is one of the first Sonic games where instead of Super Sonic being used in a final boss, it's just a secret unlockable. The DS version had a Super Sonic final boss, and it was awesome, so it's kinda disappointing that the Wii version doesn't have one. Super Sonic is honestly kinda disappointing, to be honest. It really just gives you an infinite boost, and well, that's pretty much it. On top of that, you can't even use Wisps, so getting an S rank as Super Sonic is pretty much impossible. Gameland is not the only extra mode in Colors, we also have Egg Shuttle. Egg Shuttle is where you run through every level in one sitting, and your lives and score transfer to the next level. There's really no reason to play this mode unless if you're like just a speedrun or something, or go for 100% or whatever. But with 2 extra modes and red rings, this game has a considerable amount of extra content. Is it as much as a game like Unleashed? Absolutely not. The game took me weeks to 100%. 100% in Colors won't take long at all. Maybe around 6 hours or so. But in short, there's plenty of extra content here. Now let's talk about what you are all probably here for. The day was May 27th, 2021, and a Sonic-based presentation aired just a few weeks before the 30th anniversary. This presentation gave us news on upcoming merch, events, and even games to celebrate Sonic's anniversary. The main part of the show was obviously Colors Ultimate, and many people weren't surprised because it was leaked beforehand. And many people, myself included, were very excited for a remaster. Now, many things looked off in the trailer, mainly the graphics. Now, they were definitely improved by release, but to be completely honest, they're still not great. I always say that graphics are the most important part of a remaster. I mean, it's a remaster. Now, the new lighting and graphics in Colors Ultimate are just okay if you ask me. Like many people, I also don't like the new bloom effects, but they're not that bad. Some areas also look way too dark, and yes, this is an issue, but not a major one. The game also saw many glitches at launch. Some of the big ones, such as the infamous seizure glitch, have been fixed, thank God, but this is just not acceptable. The number of glitches that are in this game makes me wonder how they weren't noticed. We have things like random textures flickering, object loading issues, music just not playing, oh, and how could we forget save data corruption? Nintendo Switch was way worse. I mean, they put Hypersonic into the game. Thankfully, these issues have been addressed and are being fixed. But let's talk about what Ultimate adds that doesn't involve glitches. Let's start off with the Jade Ghost, which is a completely new Wisp to colors. And I gotta say, this is definitely my favorite Wisp. We saw this Jade Ghost Wisp in Team Sonic Racing, and it was kind of okay there, but I don't know, just seeing it in colors is just so good. I just find it satisfying to go through walls and whatnot. Most areas were added to the game to be accessed with the Ghost Wisp, and some Red Ring locations were also moved so they could be collected with the Jade Ghost. I cannot tell you how many times I thought I was going crazy because I could have sworn there was a red ring here, and there was in the original, but they moved it way up here. Now I'm honestly fine with this because it gives the Ghost more purpose, but overall this is just a welcome addition. Next up is the cosmetics. I'm going to be honest and say that I don't really care for them at all. The only one that I actually cared about was the movie Sonic aura. I mean, just look at this looks awesome. Otherwise, everything else is kinda underwhelming. Everything is just random particles and recolors, which are hardly noticeable when playing. I mentioned in a previous video that I wish they included things such as the soap shoes or Chip's bracelet, but oh well, it's a nice addition nonetheless. One thing I thought I was going to hate was the tail save. I'm going to be honest and say that people definitely overreacted to this. I was actually relieved when I was in Aquarium Park Act 2 and I died near the end, because this level has no checkpoints. That being said, the tail save kinda defeats the purpose of checkpoints, considering that you will get many saves throughout your playthrough. No joke, I was already maxed out in Starlight Carnival, but the tail save ended up being a nice feature. Do I think they should include things like this in future remasters? Absolutely not, but it's fine enough. Next up is Rival Rush, and to be completely honest, I was kinda underwhelmed. Don't get me wrong, this mode was fun, but it was really easy. The only hard race was Starlight Carnival, but I completed it first try on every other stage. I know it's just a fun extra mode, but still, it was kinda disappointing. Now, let's talk about that remix soundtrack. I wasn't too happy about some of the remixes, such as Tropical Resort and Sweet Mountain, because they didn't really improve the originals. I do, however, love the new Starlight Carnival and Planet Wisp remixes. Just take a listen. Doesn't that sound amazing? Most of the remixes are good, and some aren't so great, but thankfully, they do let you choose the old OST. No, they don't let you choose the old OST. Now, this makes me mad. This feature could have been... This feature couldn't have been too hard to include, right? Thankfully, you still get to hear the old tracks in Acts 4, 5, and 6 of each zone, but definitely, it's unfortunate that you can't choose it. The best remixes, in my opinion, are definitely the Planet Wisp remixes. Unfortunately, get this, the Planet Wisp remixes are only available if you either got the digital deluxe version, or if you bought the music pack, which is $5. Gosh. There are also some other things they added, including customizable controls, and this is nice. I do wish that you could map the quick step and drift to different buttons, but it's not a big deal. One thing I don't like is how they blatantly tell you how to unlock Supersonic, so he's no longer a secret. But with glitches aside, Colors Ultimate is an amazing port. If you have never played the original, then this game is for you. Heck, even if you've played the game, I would say this is a good purchase. But yes, in my opinion, Sonic Colors still holds up today. And that was my Sonic Colors Ultimate review. This game is still my favorite Sonic game even after all these years. I had a lot of fun revisiting this game in HD 60 FPS. With that being said, if I had to give this game a rating, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10 or around 4.5 stars. But that's going to end this video, guys, so let me know what you think about Sonic Colors Ultimate in the comment section down below. But thank you all so much for waiting for this review, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye!